free to spruce
Right.
things up
I
or
forgot
add
I had to hit a
categories.
go live button on YouTube. So hey, we're going live on YouTube. Hi,
Oh,
we're live on
hello,
YouTube now.
YouTube. This is our
Hello.
first YouTube live broadcast, so this is pretty cool.
I guess it's live on multiple places. It's on all
Yes,
of the places.
I'm glad that you figured this out.
Me too. I'm pleased about it. We got
Like,
about a minute 30.
okay. So all right. So the connection seems to be fine. I am currently in Virginia in my old childhood home. With no internet. So
Beautiful.
I'm on a personal I am on a brand new hotspot that
So
seems to be providing better internet.
does that
So
mean that
no
I'm
longer
hosting this week?
what now?
Does that mean that I'm hosting this week?
I mean, like, I'm not sure honestly. Like if you think that'd be detrimental, then sure you can host.
Yeah, I will, just so that we don't lose you and
Okay.
suddenly nobody's hosting the show.
All right. Well, I'm not. This has been a remarkably good connection, so I should be good. But yeah, all right, fair enough.
30 seconds.
Excellent. I enjoy these stupid gifts you've got set up. I better get a quick drink of water.
What gifts do I have set up?
Oh, not the moving images
Oh,
on the screen.
okay. That's video. That's not a GIF.
Yeah, technically.
Let's go over to the state. No, that's not. No, that's OBS. Hi, just ignore that, everyone. Everyone watching. Just ignore the OBS screen that you just saw. You don't.
So y'all are looking at my show notes, right?
No, actually no. It was the actual OBS screen. So we had some weird inception there for a moment.
No. I mean, like you both have clicked my show notes and you're looking at them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let me bring that up. I did not have them open, but I will have them open now.
So, like, even though you're technically hosting, what I was going to do was I thought we'd like go, between the three of us and just give a basic summary of our thoughts and then go in deeper with the categories I've outlined.
Sure.
Right.
Let's see if my new stuff works in this. Hey, yeah, oh, hey. Cool. Yeah, it still works. Excellent. I just wanted to make sure my Steam Deck. Hey, we're still in pre-show, guys. We are starting very shortly, but I just wanted to let you guys know.
We're technically entertaining you right now. It's just
I sure hope so.
It's very unstructured.
I sure hope so. We will start. You're not. Let me put it this way: you guys are not allowed to be entertained right now. If you are entertained, that is a problem, and you need to stop immediately. We will tell you. We will tell you when you are allowed to be entertained, and you are not allowed to be entertained at any point before that. This is the contract that we establish between ourselves and our audience. We need to establish that firmly, and we can't go light on them. Otherwise, they'll start walking all over us.
GX. While we're being super serious,
sure.
You should have hashtagged the Sonic Origins thing in our tweet, man. I'll learn to include that.
I forgot. I put it in the YouTube video. The YouTube description has the hashtag Sonic Origins.
But but it also needs to be on the Twitter. Anyway,
you're not wrong, but
so while we're here being unprofessional, man, what was I going? Oh yeah, man, like this past week has been really good for just like all of our platforms. Like our Twitter is crossed the 40,000 mark. Our YouTube passed the 4,000 mark. Our Twitch subs are over 500. I'm surprised, like, things have actually gained traction this time around. It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, hey, whenever you've got a game that has not yet been released that a lot of people have questions about, turns out that, yeah, they like getting that information. I think we handled it quite well in a way that not necessarily every outlet was like we were the outlet that was specifically trying to anticipate these are the things that people are going to want to know about. And more specifically, these are the things that people are going to want to complain about incessantly because it's Twitter and Twitter is a misery website
Anyone keeps
for
going into
terror.
my room, and I told them way ahead of time that I was doing this podcast.
Man, if Sonic Frontiers marketing doesn't improve, that game is going to be a massive boon for us.
Right. Yeah, but I'll feel bad. Because everyone else is gonna be like if I actually made money off of I made this video, let me get that. Well, first off, it would not be a lot of money because everything goes to site hosting or whatever. But also, that would make me miserable. That would make it like having to change what I do to make other people happy, to make other people on the internet happy.
I mean, I'm still going through Sonic Origins story mode because I had to like spend my first few days with the game mostly just like going through all the different modes and stuff to get recordings.
I'm gonna post some stuff.
All right.
Okay, are we about ready then?
Yeah. Like everything seems to be working well on my end.
Cool. Let's call it then. I'm gonna hide this, and we'll give it a 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to Sonic Talk Podcast, episode 88. I think I'm pretty sure it's 88.
Yeah, it's 88. That's why I put on the show notes.
Yeah, you did put that on the show notes. If only I was looking at the show notes. That'd be a very useful skill to have, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
And to answer immediately to our YouTube viewership, yes, this is live. This is not a pre-recorded show. Hi, and welcome. We have long aired this series on Twitch. We are now double streaming. Double streaming. That's not the actual term for it, but I'm calling it the term for it. We are double streaming to both Twitch and YouTube now. So if you have a preference for either platform, then head on over and you can always watch us live. We typically record on the last Sunday of the month. Although, this is special. What's so special about this, Knuckles87?
Well, that new TMNT game came out, and I just got my Switch OLED, so I've just been playing the heck out of that lately.
Cool. My other fellow co-host, Shigs, is there anything going on special for you?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a 16-bit classic that just got re-released. Besides TMNT, as far as
the Pac-Man collection
games goes, yeah.
Yeah, the Pac-Man collection. I hear people weren't happy with that.
Oh yeah, there's a classic Pac-Man collection going on. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest games on there, and they pretty much killed Miss Pac-Man. Now she's Pac-Mom. Because Namco doesn't have the rights to her.
Everybody shut up! No, we're here to talk about Sonic Origins. Direct swerve. That's what we're here for. It's the reason for the season. We are here for Sonic Origins tonight. We have all played a fair amount of it. Some of us have played 9 straight hours on stream, currently available on Sonic Stadium's YouTube channel or on their Twitch archives. Both are available. Hey, you want to watch the entire story mode played in one long marathon? We've got it. Do you want to watch a bunch of videos that made the internet very angry that it's not the music that they want, it's a different, slightly less interesting music? We got that. We got like a bunch of views on it being like, I don't like this.
Carnival is pretty terrible.
Yeah. What? What'd you say?
The soundtrack. I said the soundtrack of that Carnival Night is pretty terrible.
I think it is fine. I
do like Ice Cap is just fine. I think that one's pretty good.
You know,
Ice Cap. Ristar.
The comparison I made was it's not as good as the original. No, absolutely not. But neither were the beta tracks. The music, the new music that they have, I would compare it to like. You know how in Sonic 2, the multiplayer stages had separate music?
Yeah, sort of.
Like if you I'm talking to people who never played Sonic 2 multiplayer, aren't I?
I mean, like I went into it a couple of times, but I never played it with anyone. So I maybe spent like 10 minutes in it during my childhood.
The new music tracks that they put in for Sonic 3 kind of feel like the version that you would have in a Sonic 3 multiplayer game to me. Like they don't have quite the same punch, but ultimately at the end of the day, they're generally pretty serviceable. They don't take me out of the experience.
Like you're not going to get a whole lot of complaining about the music on here tonight, aside from maybe Shigs, but he's one person out of three. We'll hit him over with it with a bat or something if he goes on for too long.
I mean, at the end of the day, like I would put Ice Cap Zone as probably one of my top 10 favorite Sonic music tracks of all time. So like, there ain't nothing touching that. But
like the original Ice Cap was amazing, but I'm not gonna. But the one that they got is still fitting.
Yeah, it fits. It has a different tone to it. Like I would say, Carnival. The weird thing about Carnival Night is with the previous music for it, and I guess that's where we're starting off this discussion.
The theme, really good, yeah.
The original Carnival Night was very like off. It was off kilter. It was almost like a minor key in some places. Like it was traditional circusy sounding music, but really askew. So that was like, oh, I'm not at a happy, joyous, fun carnival. I'm at like a mildly creepy carnival. And now it's just, oh no, I'm at a happy, joyous, fun carnival.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess just we're gonna start with what like our general feelings on the game. And Shigs, what like what is your relationship with Sonic Origins thus far? I feel like you might have put in the least amount of time from all three of us so far.
Really, because I played every mode. I played the Boss Rush mode just before the show starts, so I can get a little bit of time with that. But I've been mainly playing Sonic 3 and Knuckles and trying to get through that, and then actually enjoying myself. This is the first time I've gone through Sonic 3 and Sonic Knuckles in one straight shot, as one game. And it really feels good, though. It makes it feel like the large game that it is. And I've been having a lot of fun with that. I mean, you say ooh for about, challenge, but with the addition of, unlimited lives, it makes it a bit easier. You can tell what's the end boss for Sonic 3 when you have to do 3 Eggman bosses in a row before you get to Mushroom Meal.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. There are 3 of those in a row. I think of it as like, oh, I'm in this one segment, and then I go to the other segment. It's like, oh no, they do actually make you fight 3 bosses right in a row.
Yeah, which of course, if they hadn't had to disconnect the games into 2 separate games back in the 90s, it would have just probably been one boss and it would have flowed better. But yeah, it feels about as long as Sonic Mania, just playing through Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Anyway, but other than that, I'm enjoying what I've been playing of the other modes in here. I love that we have a mirror mode and the boss rush and all the different little missions and having all these extra unlockables. Although most of them, like illustrations that they've been available before in the Mega Collection and some Sonic Jam and that. And the soundtrack is basically Generations, but it's still nice to have all these extra unlockables. And the way they've done the presentation of the menu and all that, I think it's one of the most solid Sonic collections, probably since Sonic Jam. I think I actually, except for the Mega Collection had unlockable 8-bit games. I think I actually prefer this over Mega Collection.
Yeah,
I do think it's good to note that we all primarily experience this game on a different platform. Shigs, you're on the Xbox. I played it primarily on the PS5 because that's where I got my review code.
Oh, we all played something different here because you were we got Xbox, we got PlayStation, and I did both PC and Switch.
Yeah. And,
cool. So we've each had a different experience. Yeah, as far as I haven't had the bugs that other people have been having, the closest thing I had was my Xbox, the game freezing on me where I couldn't get to the main menu. It just got stuck on the island and froze. Ooh. Now, it might be an issue. I don't know if it's an issue with the game or an issue with my Xbox. I've had another game that had that freezing issue before.
Well, let me just say that, like, I've had random game freezes on both the Xbox and the PlayStation, going all the way back to the 1 and the 4. So
yeah, and it's nothing I've been able to replicate since. So that's good.
Yeah. So, Alex, you've had the fortunate job of getting to take a whole bunch of videos for the site. If you take a look on our YouTube, I would say not all of them are Knuckles videos, but a good chunk of them are. In fact, I think you have one still in the docket that I need to post live.
Yeah,
but
I did finally get mirror mode unlocked for Sonic CD, which that's currently the latest one. But yeah. So I'm just gonna start by repeating what I said on the Twitter, which is like, this is an excellent package, and I liked it so much that I actually didn't mind spending $45 on the Switch version. Like, there's just like so much meat here and so much game.
Yeah, that's what surprised me. I mean, it's still a little on the high end, but when you compare this to like Pac-Man Museum, which is barely worth its $20, I still don't think it's a $40 game, but the $30 game I could easily see.
Like, I got this on the Switch because I want to 100% this game. You know, I want to go through all the different games with all the different characters. I want to go through the new Blue Sphere mode, and I want to do all of those missions.
Oh, yeah.
And there are so many missions.
I really do enjoy the mission mode that they have. It's not a huge thing. I kind of wish there was even more, and that they got even more wild with them. But the ones that they do have, they do take chunks of the level and make significant remixes to them and just toss you.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more involved than some of the stuff in if you remember the Mario Maker 2, the ability to add additional level requirements in there. It's not that far removed from it, but it does feel slightly different in that they're throwing you into these much more pre-existing stage fragments, and
they're all designed to test different test different reflexes and different skills and different mechanics, and they really run the gamut, in terms of what you can do. Sometimes it's just kill a certain amount of enemies and then get to the goal. Sometimes it's just navigate a bunch of obstacles. There's a Sonic CD one where you have to go back and then forward into time, and you just navigate this little playground of a level and try to do it as quickly as possible. And all this stuff is just a lot of fun. And so I have been impressed with what I have played. It is just unreal playing all of this stuff on modern hardware, finally, without any caveats or any hoops to jump through. It's just there.
Yeah.
And I too haven't really experienced much in the way of glitches. I had one instance of a soft lock in Sonic CD when I drowned. When I was about to drown, but I got crushed. and that seemed to just confuse the game, and it just kind of sat there after I died. And that's
I
like
had that.
the most egregious glitch I've run into.
It's funny because I had a glitch very similar to that whenever I was streaming the 3DS version of Sonic Lost World, where I drowned at the same well, no, I didn't drown at the same exact moment, but I like hit something at the same exact moment that I was going to lose Drill, and it basically just put me on a different Z-axis space, and I just fell until I basically fell behind the scenery and died in a 2D plane. It's so, I don't know, sometimes you have those weird off situations like, oh, two things collided, how do we resolve this? The answer is sometimes poorly.
Yeah, I think I was actually watching the stream when that happened.
Yeah.
Sometimes stuff like this just happens in a game.
Sometimes it does. Like, I mean, I'm thinking back to Sonic 2, and I tell the story every time I talk about Sonic 2, but, like, there was always this one segment of Sonic 2 that scared the absolute crap out of me in Casino Night Zone. And I'm talking about Genesis Sonic 2, where it was sort of right after you had to go up a curve, and there were several bumpers around it. And if you hit the bumpers too much too fast, I think it would resolve Sonic's position inside a chunk of wall that you could not then escape from. So you were either waiting until the 10-minute timer was up, or you would basically just have to restart the game. And I was an impatient child.
It's like when Star Trek that you materialize inside a wall from the transporter.
Yeah.
So, beyond that, I have noticed that Sonic 3 Knuckles does feel a little more rough. Like in Hydro City, which is where I'm at in the game right now.
You mean Hydrosity?
Nope, I mean Hydro City.
Nobody cares.
So, like, those windy those windy tunnels that you get pushed through with the current. Like, I do like just regularly just get caught on the wall for a second before I get pushed up. And I know that didn't used to happen. So, like, I don't know. Like, I imagine that it is probably the roughest game in the collection, even though, aside from that, it is still basically as flawless as near as I can tell. Like, I'm sure that the super hardcore can pick out all of the little minutia, and then, of course, is the random poor SOB who just, like, gets the milk water with the electric shield.
Yeah.
Which
That's
never happened to me.
I encountered so I guess let's just start this discussion with like the feelings on its stability as a piece of software, because I know we've already discussed, sometimes you got random crashes that it's hard to really attribute it to. Is that the console? Is that the software? Like, what's going on here? I experienced, I would say, one of the more common issues, and one that I can't really quite explain, and I guess one small issue that is related to the pure white water, where so the pure white water was something that someone experienced where a lot of the effects in classic Sonic games are handled not by changing a sprite to a different sprite, by changing the palette that's associated with that sprite for a bit. And I had issues with that in the Mushroom Hill boss stage, where I struck the boss. Typically, that changes the black palette to white in order to show that damage is being done, but it also affects the little spheres that you try to jump over, and the spheres just sort of stayed blinking black and white. The more infamous version of this is someone got a magnet shield, which is not waterproof, and in Angel Island Zone, they landed in water. It sort of does a little shock effect in the water to show it's dissipating, and then it just forgot to change the palette back to its normal colors.
Well, the thing is, I've heard that, like, this is one of those glitches that was just, like, in the original game, but wasn't nearly as common, and mostly appeared in, like, Launch Bay Zone Act 2 or something.
That's weird, though, because I don't know how the I don't know exactly how these games are put together in this new engine, but I can't imagine it's built entirely like the classic Genesis games. That would be bizarre, and it would make it more difficult, and it would fail to account for a lot of actual improvements. Well, I will call them improvements, like real sprite rotation. This game has real sprite rotation in a way that the original game did not, and it's really noteworthy in things like the gears in Metropolis Zone, or I'm trying to think of what else there was. Like, I was freaking out. I was like,
this... like Supersonic has had new sprites made for his rotation effect.
Yeah. There were specific things I had in my head that were like, oh, this is really cool that it's actually rotating now, and it's not just like snapping at 15-degree angles every couple milliseconds. Yeah, I wish I could think of more situations like that, but like it's really noticeable on stuff like Gears. It's cool. The other more common bug that I specifically encountered was one where Tails failed to despawn, and I mostly experienced this in Sonic 2.
I have encountered that one to a degree.
Where basically you would leave Tails, but Tails would attempt to catch up with you instead of just despawning and respawning, and he would just basically try to keep jumping until he can get back to you without sort of hitting the flag necessary to say, okay, despawn Tails, respawn him off screen, get him flying in here. And I was able to find a workaround for it by having a second controller attached and just very briefly manually taking over Tails. But I mean, that's not a great solution, but it is a workaround. And then the weirdest one I encountered was that late in the game, it basically desynced with my save file or something while I was in the middle of playing, and in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, it just sort of completely forgot that I collected any emeralds whatsoever. Like, it was trying to hit a flag that that basically it could not detect the save. So
I think I'm having a similar issue with Sonic 3 and Knuckles, because I have collected all 7 Chaos Emeralds. I have not collected all the Super Emeralds. I've only collected like one of those. And I have not been able to turn it to Supersonic no matter what.
Oh, once you get to Sonic and Knuckles, that shuts off.
Yeah, if you collected a Super Emerald, that means that you gave up being Supersonic.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, that's just how the gameplay is. Basically,
that's something I didn't encounter until like 3 or 4 years ago when I finally did what you're doing.
Yeah, it was weird because I sort of noticed that I could no longer be hypersonic after getting all the Super Emeralds in about Lava Reef Act 2. And from that point, I made it to the cutscene that takes place in the Emerald Shrine, and it was like there were no emeralds there. Like the slots there were just empty. Because, like, if you collect them, they show up in that cutscene. That's whenever I knew, oh, something's a problem here. Something's an actual problem. I exited the game. I found that it remembered that I was on Death Egg Zone Act 1, but whenever I actually went into the save, it took me back to Lava Reef Act 2, which tells me Lava Reef Act 2 somehow, it just got desynced with the save. It wasn't saving, it wasn't grabbing from the save. It was weird. It was weird.
I've heard that. I've heard other people have that issue with the Chaos Emeralds, but then that usually got resolved by just going into the next level. So I guess it didn't happen with you.
Yeah. But like it sounds like none of us have had like a game-breakingly bad experience.
I mean, I think outside of PC, where people are having issues booting up their game, Like, there just aren't game-breaking issues here. Like, this is even Sonic Colors Ultimate level of glitches. This is just, like, lots of niggling things that can be minor annoyances and add up over time.
Yeah, there's a couple perspectives on this that I can see people being legitimately upset about. And like the first one is like, hey, Sega is selling this as a premium product for a premium price. $40 is not an impulse purchase. $40 is actually pretty significant for these old games. And I'm not saying that because there isn't work done on. I'm just saying that, like, from the outside, it's really easy to look at this and saying, oh, they're selling me Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic CD, they're selling me these old games. Again, if you compare it to, like, other retro collections, then yeah, it's kind of a premium product, and you would expect it to have some testing that would go along with that. Now, given recent trends, and specifically pointing at the Pac-Man collection as of late, like, I mean, it beats the crap out of having input delay on Pac-Man Championship Edition.
Oh yeah, that was terrible.
But I can relate to that. I can also relate to the idea that, like, hey, we've been having quality control issues with Sonic teams for the last 20 years. Arguably longer, but at least the last 20 years.
I mean, like, you could arguably go all the way to Sonic 1 with, like, the spike glitch and other things. And
you can, but yeah. But... And if someone's frustrated from that perspective, then it's hard for me to sit here and say, yes, I mean, this is just a perfect game that is wonderful and great. No, it's not. It just isn't, and it's another tick in the counter of, here are problems happening in regard to Sonic Team, or in regard to Sega and their Sonic franchise, that they're not delivering on full cylinders like we expect them to. But that said, if you're using this as to say, oh, this game is broken and it sucks, no, it just isn't. It's not. It has problems, but it's not broken. You can absolutely get through, and I've had more fun with games that functioned worse.
And, like, depending on your experience, like if it's anything like mine, you won't even have any idea this stuff is going on until you go to social media. I remember I was trying to be conscious of the glitches this time around because of Sonic Colors Ultimate, and so, like, I'm playing through the game, I'm not seeing anything, and then the game finally comes out, and it's the exact same thing, albeit again not as bad, but still basically happened. At least the Switch version wasn't, like, uniquely broken or something.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I had a decent time on the Switch version.
The worst one as far as performance goes might be the PC one. That could just be people's adjustment of their graphics card and such.
What I imagine is going on is that they probably, like, either didn't properly what's the word? Optimize the menus, because the menus, like, they're using, like, the same tech as Sonic Frontiers.
That is our understanding. So, that is our bizarre understanding through unusual methods.
That's a story for next week.
Yeah.
And so it's not hard to imagine that they just, like, made this thing ran well on all of their powerful test PCs and just didn't think, well, you know what? We should, like, make sure this stuff runs on mid or low tier PCs. I don't know.
I know, like, the weird part is everyone in the Steam reviews is basically saying, "Rah, it's Denuvo's fault. It's because of the Denuvo. The Denuvo ghoul is showing its head and ruining our games." And the answer is no. It's probably that Sega screwed it up. Honestly, it's probably that it's just poorly optimized.
This is the first time that a PC port was just bad. Like, this happens so often, especially with Japanese studios, that I almost expect it. I just wasn't expecting with this because again, like these are like ports of PC games, of iPhone games, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all running in a specific engine, and you figure they're trying to port that engine to a bunch of different platforms.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate, but like I also look, but I'm coming from the other perspective is like, okay, if this is a problem, what do I get that's the positive? And the answer is I get so much. I get so much.
So are you finally going into your summary of your view of the game?
I guess I was trying not to because I spent so much time talking about other stuff, but yeah, there is recorded evidence of basically my excitement for the abstract concept of this game, I would say since before I was even a writer for Sonic Stadium. Just my general frustration that Sega has these great mobile ports with cool extra features that were trapped on phones, a platform that I absolutely do not want to play retro games on, whether it be controller or touchscreen. And ultimately, like, hey, they finally decided, oh, well, we're going to put this on consoles and we're going to use it as an excuse to re-release our Sonic CD port and also Sonic 3K. That's actually out now for something other than PC. And yep. I'm real excited about that because there was definitely some discussion going on in chat about, hey, eventually I'll get to play these PC versions or PC modifications or fan-made stuff for this. And
I mean, we already got mods out.
Yeah, and to me, yeah, it's great that those things exist, but at the same time, like, I want to play the stuff on I want to play stuff on consoles. I want to have a nice, elegant package. I want to see this put together. So yeah, it's cool that Sonic 3K AIR exists, but I can't play that in the same way that I can play this. Like, I can't just jump onto my Steam Deck and have it download and then just have it run like that. I can't put that on my Switch. I can't just like have a really nice interface executable for those Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 decompiles because that's not really what the decompile was about. It's about just getting it to run, not necessarily making it look like the big, nice, fancy product that it is. Like, I look at this stuff and I think, I'm getting mission modes. Mission modes, I think, are really cool. It's a really cool idea. I would honestly pay for more of them. Whether that is...
that's an idea.
It is. Look, it is an idea, but I'm not expecting DLC for this game. I just am not. I love getting to play as any of the characters in almost any of the games. I love the knowledge that, like, hey, I could play as Sonic and Tails in Sonic 1. I could play as Knuckles in Sonic 1. I could play as Knuckles and Tails in Sonic 2. All of those are really cool concepts to me.
For me, the coolest thing is Tails and Sonic CD.
Yeah, that's still like, cool even a decade later.
Like, there's a reason why my video that's highlighting the coins is just Tails running through Palm Tree Panic. Because like that's just such a fun little addition.
We've got some shade in chat here from XLhead saying, I hate the dedicated super button. I love the dedicated super button.
Oh, we needed the dedicated super button because you know what makes Sonic 2 a pain in the butt? When you get all the Chaos Emeralds, you get 50 rings, and then you're on Sky Fortress, and you accidentally turn on Super Sonic when you're trying to do that platforming near the beginning of the stage, and then you just die.
I can do you one better. In Sonic 3 and Knuckles, you get to keep your shield. You don't have to lose your shield in Sonic 3 and Knuckles in order to go Super, which is really good if you have a magnet shield.
Oh, yeah, that's also good.
So I am a fan of the dedicated super button. Basically, I guess what we're running into is this collection is 100% revisionist history. And I am someone who is all about revisionist history in terms of game remakes. Like, if I could have Super Mario All-Stars, where it's like, well, we took Mario 1, but then we let you play as Princess Peach and Toad and Luigi from Mario 2, like, I would be super into that, and I am super into everything happening here, but then also happening in like this really nice, clean, pleasant package with a bunch of extra stuff. Like,
and you know what I appreciate about this revisionist history? That you no longer have to be a sadist to get all of the Chaos Emeralds.
Oh, yes! Yes! Absolutely! Oh,
like, especially Sonic 2, which is like one of the only classic Sonic games where I've never actually gotten all of the Chaos Emeralds legitimately in the game. Like, when I finally, like, about, like, I think 5 years ago, I was like, you know what? I got Sonic 2 on my 3DS. I'm gonna 100%. I'm gonna get all the Chaos Emeralds finally, because I never did that as a kid. And so, like, when it came time to, like, do the special stages, I just used the emulator, and I just used save states, and I stayed my way all the way to 7 Chaos Emeralds, and it took me, like, I don't know, 5 hours, but I did it.
I do like I absolutely prefer so a big change between this and the original Genesis version is that the special stages in Sonic 2 are, I'm gonna say, 3D rendered. I believe.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely know what they did on the Genesis.
And it improves things.
Seems like they're polygon, yeah.
Yeah, well, you have elements like, instead of having rings that just sort of pop up and expand at a set rate, like, you have proper sprite scaling, which is great. You have much greater draw distance compared to the Sonic 2 version, which I appreciate. And it just feels like I have a little bit more time to react to what's coming up, because Sonic, let me be real here. Those special stages still demand memorization. They just do. But you have slightly better tolerances than you did in the sprite-based version of that. Like, and that much plus, the fact that you can just go back and replay something that requires you to memorize something. Yeah. That's a lot easier to manage whenever you can just do that back to back instead of having to go out, get 50 rings again. Oh yeah, another change. You don't lose your rings when you go to a special stage in Sonic 2.
Which wow, like that really expedites the emeralds in that game.
It does. I'm a fan of these choices. I can see the controversy of them because, like, it does make things slightly easier, but at the same time,
the question
I think it needs to be slightly easier than the way that they had it.
Yeah, like those special stages are just, like, impossible in the original game. Like, you have to spend hours and hours and hours, like memorizing everything, and like this way, like, you still have to memorize everything. You still need all the reflexes. You know, it's still difficult, but, like, you don't have to, like, restart the game multiple times because of one screw up, which is
the question I have is because, you know, if there's still pure still complain about this, but if you're playing classic mode in 4x3 and that, do those rules still apply? Or is it more like the original game?
Basically, now this is admittedly a very weird choice that they made, where classic mode, the 4x3 version, is still very much the anniversary mode, but just in 4x3 and with certain abilities turned off. So some of the additions that they've added for anniversary mode are not really the same as that, but, like, at some point I kind of look at that and think, I honestly question why anniversary mode exists at all. I don't think there's a whole lot of value in it to here, but I also, I guess, kind of get something have something original,
mode?
but
Yeah,
like
classic mode.
There, I feel like the
anniversary mode is the 16:9 mode.
I guess what it comes down to, in my head, and correct me if you are if I feel that if you feel that this is perhaps a poor interpretation of this. I feel like the people who are most inclined to play classic mode are equally as inclined to just play ROMs. Like,
and personally, I was expecting ROMs for classic mode.
I was a little bit surprised it weren't. I was a little bit surprised that they didn't just say, "Okay, we have some emulated versions of this." But I kind of wonder if they have this. We understand in the fan community, hey, there's plenty of circumstances where they have swapped music out with other music in Sonic ROMs before, but I do kind of wonder if, like, for whatever reason, Sega is not inclined to manipulate their own ROMs or something. Like,
Well, I don't think they would have bothered making the new music in the Genesis with the Genesis toolset if they weren't going to eventually use that in a Genesis ROM. So I think that like they just wanted to say, hey, look, the classic mode also has improved visuals. So
yeah,
yay!
I guess.
I think that's ultimately what it was.
I guess if you really want it on a console, you still have the M2 versions, and you still have the the Mega Drive Mini 2, which will have the original version of Sonic CD letterboxed visuals.
Nice. That is the best way to experience Sonic CD.
No, I mean, no, it's not the best way to experience Sonic CD, but it is the most authentic way to experience any Sega CD game. Is like, here's a tiny window to experience this video. Go watch it in reduced color grading or whatever.
Speaking of Sonic CD, I really do just love both of those soundtracks.
Yeah.
Like, I by far have the most experience with the American soundtrack because I've had the American version for years. I finally beat it on a Sega CD last year, and so, like, I've just had lots of time with it. But going with the Japanese version, there are some bopping tunes on there too, and it's like it's hard for me to choose between the two.
Yeah. We brought up in chat, hey, like, they did make some modifications, like they had removed the voice acting from Sonic CD. I'll be real, I didn't even notice because that's so unobtrusive that
I forgot that it had voice acting on it.
I did too. It kind of it doesn't really manipulate, or it doesn't really make a big impact on that game. It's just a piece of trivia. It's like, what was the first voice acted Sonic in a game? And it's like, cool.
That when Sonic leaves the screen, he talks.
Oh, I didn't notice that. He doesn't go when he doesn't go, I'm out of here.
No, he doesn't go, I'm out of here. He doesn't say yes whenever he gets an extra life. But, like, I don't know. I kind of, personally, if I were to make a guess on why that is, I would think that Sega has, I believe, put some sort of stake down that classic Sonic does not get voice acting. And maybe that's just another bit of of revisionist history there. But yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, I never even noticed.
Yeah, if it were something, it's in the same vein of, like, the Super Mario Advance games, where it's like, if suddenly the voice acting in those, if suddenly you weren't constantly hearing just what I needed, then that you would not even miss that it was gone.
Well,
unless you were...
Those games had too much voice acting.
Those ones were terrible. Those ones had terrible amounts of voice acting.
When this game was announced, like a year ago, I had one hope that ultimately they didn't go through, and that was I was hoping that they would give us, like, I wanted something. I want like a marathon mode where you just play through all the games at once. We got that. The story mode and animations, that's all cool. But I also wanted them to add level interstitials like Sonic 3 and Knuckles and Sonic Mania. Which, like, I guess I was just thinking, yeah, that'd be really cool. Like, make it feel more like a one contiguous adventure, but you know, they didn't. And it's fine. It's fine.
I can tell you why they didn't. And it kind of speaks to like just the way that this collection was put together. It's like they did not like explode out the assets for these games and put them and like reassemble them into a singular engine, like a singular, for lack of a better word, like executable. Instead, it's more like you still have the Sonic 1, Sonic 2 ports there in their original format, just running through this sort of front end. And same thing with that original versions of CD, because like any of the special features in Sonic CD are within the game's menu system, not within the overall menu system.
Yeah, that can be a little bit confusing. I know that was confusing to a Jet who was having a problem with it.
Yeah, she couldn't figure out how to change the Sonic CD soundtrack, and then told her, you know, you just go into the menus and in the actual game and you change it there. And it's like, yeah, that is stupid, but
it's there. But it's like it at least, hey, it shows you how they put this together, and the way they put it together was they just took those specific old games, made, you know, like slight minor changes, I guess, and then put them out. Like, I will say, it seems like I don't ever remember the drop dash being in Sonic CD.
No, but boy, does it help, because that gives you a little cheat if you go to the, you know how frustrating it can be to hit the past flag and to try to build up your speed enough to go into the past to destroy, you know, the machine plus Metal Sonic hologram. And here, with the drop dash in place, you could just get one little area and just dash, drop, jump, dash, drop again, jump, dash, drop, and you'll instantly be in the past.
I will say that on the subject of Sonic CD, every time I revisit this game now, I like it a little more. Like, it's had my favorite special stages in the classic Sonic game since I fully beat it last year. Like, I guess I enjoy the UFO stuff now. But that, when it comes to the core levels, I really only find Wacky Workbench and Metallic Madness to be insufferable now.
I'm a little bit okay with Metallic Madness. I still have some issues with its level design. I think what it comes down to is that game has an incredible style. Like, it just has an amazing style to it that I absolutely love, and that's kind of where the forgiveness comes in for me. Like, I am willing to like and play this game, not because I think like it has really amazingly designed levels. It has really weird levels, and that endears it a little bit. But also, like, it looks so good, it sounds so good. It still has every bit of like Sonic controls, so generally speaking, it controls really good. It has a lot of diverse paths. It has a lot of diverse paths.
It has a lot of levels that really just lets you
make diverse paths,
which I appreciate. Like, you can just book it in most of these levels, and like, there's still gonna be plenty of obstacles, plenty of things to bounce off of, plenty of paths, all that stuff. But like, if you just want to speed through the stage, you mostly can. But then, of course, we get to Wacky Workbench, where its singular thing is the floor bounces and the wall electrocutes you, and that just creates so much chaos that you just cannot play this level effectively or with any amount of skill. It's just blind dumb luck. Whether or not you're
I will stop short of saying that. I will say that it's profoundly frustrating and has a lot of stop and start. But I think there is plenty of skill, that there is not blind luck. I think there is a lot of timing and a lot of skill and a lot of expertise needed for that stage. Unfortunately, its expertise in aid of just kind of sort of very slowly and very carefully landing on these weird spinning platforms that threaten to throw you off, but also you have to take it, but also, I don't know, here's a shooter that turns you into ice and hurts you. I don't know.
Maybe I just don't have the patience for its nonsense then. And Metallic Madness, my main issue is that it's very start and stop, and its platforming is really difficult to deal with. Like, there are just moments where, like, I just, like, cannot get around the level geometry to get where I need to go, and it's just annoying. And then there's that final level where like, again, you have to interact with everything in exactly the right way, and the door to get to the boss room has to be open when you get to it. There's no way for you to, like, properly pre-plan for any of that stuff, because like you're just constantly moving, and I hate that. That makes the very final level of this game just really frustrating to get through. Even though the boss battle isn't too bad as long as you have enough rings.
I don't feel that way about it, but I respect the opinion here. I will say, on the topic of like transitions within game or between games, the one thing I will point out is one of the big additions for Sonic 3 and Knuckles is that they did include new and slightly changed animations for the transitions between stages.
Ooh.
I don't know if you caught the transition after you beat Big Arms in Sonic.
I'm still in Hydro City, unfortunately.
They haven't
gotten that far yet.
By the way, Tails saved my butt in Big Arms. I was hitting Robotnik pretty good, but I was out of rings, and then just before I almost had him done, he grabbed me, and then Tails jumped up and hit him.
Didn't you post that on Twitter?
No, somebody else did, and I had the exact same experience that they did.
That was always nice when Tails AI is useful.
Tails has been a really big help to me, in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. He's helped me a few times with some bosses.
Oh, absolutely, and the fact that they took... I don't think this was in the original Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I think this was an addition particularly for Sonic Mania, but you can instruct Tails to basically airlift you if you need to, just by holding up and pressing jump, and he will go into his flight mode. You can jump into his arms, and then basically you control him in the same way that you would control him in Marble Garden Zone. So that's...
Yeah, actually you can do that in Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 Knuckles. It is super nifty for getting around the level.
Yeah, in the new version, not in the classic version.
Oh, yeah. In the classic version, you need someone with a second controller to do that.
Yeah. But yeah, like, whenever you get to the transition between Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles, they made this big, involved animation for it, where it's like, it shows you the actual transition between how we get from the events of Sonic 3 to how we get to the events of Sonic Knuckles, including one that directly references the title screen of Sonic and Knuckles, because you don't actually ever encounter that title screen in Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
Oh, I cannot wait to get to that. Once I get a few Chaos Emeralds, I can book it through that half of the game. So maybe tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, playing all these games side by side, it really does highlight just how weak Sonic 1 is compared to its sequels. Like, it is such an uneven game compared to the rest.
Oh god, yeah. You go to the first mode, the first level Green Hill Zone, then the second mode, Marble. I forget exactly what's called, where you just stop and go, and there's no speed at all.
I mean,
just instantly.
That hasn't really always been the case. Hasn't that always been the weakest of the brothers among, like, fandom and outside of the fandom? Like, haven't we always had that sort of cultural understanding of, like, they were still figuring things out in this game, and then eventually we got things like, okay, now we have the spin dash in it, and now we have the drop dash in it, and now we have any of the other 2 characters in it if you want to, and that kind of makes certain stages a little bit more playable.
I cannot wait to do Knuckles in Sonic 1. I've never done that.
Yeah, it's
Tails in Sonic 1 in mirror mode, just for the fun of it.
Oh boy, yeah, that sounds mind-melting.
And finally, before we move on to the next thing, I do want to just say with Sonic 2, just like Sonic CD, the more I play Sonic 2, the more I have an appreciation for it. But boy, is that final level still so wretched. And there's 3 acts. Well, not final level, but
right.
Metropolis.
Metropolis, yeah. Yeah, the Metropolis Zone boss is something. Like, okay, I have to know, Knuckles. Did you opt to play Sonic 2 as Knuckles?
No. Actually,
okay, then you didn't encounter the misery boss fight at the end of that. You encountered a fairly difficult boss fight, but playing that boss, or playing against that boss as Knuckles, is a terrible experience, because as you know, Knuckles' weakness, as opposed to his abilities, is that he cannot jump as high as Sonic and Tails. And that boss fight is about completely using the absolute apex of your jump to not die. So,
oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll get to experience that soon enough, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like, for me, what I really hate about that zone is just the starfish and those goddamn praying mantis things.
I had surprisingly less trouble than whenever I played that game on stream last, but I think the difference between those 2 times is that I was supersonic and was like, oh, this is arguably playable.
Like, whenever I see the starfish, I just went super, and then I guess, then I get carried on, just let them blow up in futility as I passed.
I guess
there was no way I was avoiding those things.
I guess my criticism of those ones is that I think they're just too long. I think they are individually too long, and they are collectively too long. But at the same time, you get through it, and then you have a stage that's 1 act, a stage that's 1 act, and then the final boss. So I guess I sort of get it.
Was this your first time playing Hidden Palace Zone?
I had played Hidden Palace whenever the Sonic 2 decompile released.
Okay.
So it's not my first time, but it's been a while since I've really messed around with it. I kind of... honestly, whenever the decompile came out, I didn't even realize that you got there from within a stage. But for those unfamiliar, I don't know, this might be a spoiler. Cover your ears if you don't want to hear how to get to Hidden Palace Zone. Hidden Palace Zone is accessed from Sonic 2's what's it called? What stage?
It's the mine?
Mystic Cave. Mystic Cave.
Like, there's this one level where, like, if you fall into it, you can't get back at. And it's like infamous because if you're supersonic, you get stuck there.
Yeah,
I guess replace that with a way to access the Hidden Palace,
which is super clever. Which is incredibly clever. Oh,
yeah, I specifically made sure that I wouldn't miss that after you did, because I was like, no, I'm experiencing this in story mode. Darn it.
Yeah. It's cool. It's cool that it's there. Admittedly, like, hey, it was there in another version of that game, but like, I like it. It's fun. It's nice. You know what else I like? I do like the ability to have all of these games strung into one massive experience.
Yes.
That's really cool.
I had an amazing amount of time being able to stream that.
I think it's very cool. I might do it sometime in the future, I'm sure.
Yeah, and you can save partway through, so you can like plug away at it a bit and then come back to it.
That's another big thing about this thing is that no matter what mode you're in, it saves every single mode separately. None of it's tied together. You could play Sonic 1 normal. You can play Sonic 1 Anniversary, Sonic 1 Classic, Sonic 1 Mirror Mode, and then Boss Rush Mode, and it's all separate saves.
Another thing I appreciate is that they like make every single lamppost a safe spot. So like,
yes,
you can just,
so you can exit the game right from that lamppost area and just continue later.
It really,
I love that.
It
has so many little quality of life things in it.
Yeah,
that really help it.
That's kind of it. It's like I for as much as the we'll say the most dedicated Sonic fan who is going to be the most pedantic about what this game does do and doesn't do, like, this is an amazing entry point for kids, for fans who just haven't come back to these games in a long time.
Yeah.
Like, it's super kind with how it saves. It's super kind with what it does with lives, with what it does for special stages. It just, this is the version that if I wanted someone to, like, play the classic Sonic games, this is the version I would give them, because it just is, it is sensitive to the fact that that classic games in general were fairly difficult, and I stand by my statement that I think the original Genesis Sonic games were fairly difficult games. It was this control mechanism where you kind of had to wrap your head around understanding momentum and character momentum and sort of playing it not like a traditional Mario platformer, but needing to think ahead as if you were like playing a skateboarding game in a 2D platforming context. And that's hard.
Of course, that is why these games have always given you a very generous health system.
They do, yeah,
like
absolutely.
Me, these games get really super difficult when you're trying to get all the Chaos Emeralds. And like, that is just so hard, as I've said.
I think there are just like a couple spots where having infinite lives does legitimately help smooth over some sections. And like, the places I'm thinking of are the final boss fights of specifically like Sonic 1 and Sonic 2, and to an extent maybe Sonic CD as well, because like
I would have like lost 40 lives trying to beat Sonic 2 a couple days ago. I was at that for an hour.
I will also say, in every bit of my experience, this version fixes the, we'll say, the what is it called? The hitbox error that happens in original Genesis Sonic 2. The error, that the bug that absolutely is demoralizing, where if you just hit Eggman's robot in the wrong time, in the wrong place, it will fail to recognize that you've hit it. You will sort of just lead into the middle of his body, and then as soon as it figures out, oh, you've impacted him, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
That's not in this version. This version seems pretty clean. Like, you can take that boss fight fairly slow and a little bit methodically, and it's much more manageable.
Once I finally figured out that he's like vulnerable when he lands. Technically, when I remembered that, it's been a year since I last played that boss battle. And that's when I was all like, okay, now I beat it in like 3 tries. But man,
when I was a kid, I would go for the crotch shot, and that is a risky move.
Yeah, that's what I would have done too. I would not have had the patience to wait for him to land.
By the way, I discovered something playing as Tails in Sonic 1, and in the Marble Zone Act 1, really right away, almost as soon as you get to the first place where you have to kind of turn around, there's a wall. There's a slight edge to it where Sonic can't reach, but Tails can if you fly up there. You can get some rings there, but then if you jump up and you keep flying and flying all the way up, really high up, there's an invincibility box.
Ooh.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that's pretty cool, because that means it was designed specifically for Tails for this game.
Another thing I really appreciate
for the Sonic on the
is the level select stuff for Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 that let you introduce all of these new features to the game.
Yeah, I'm honestly a little bit disappointed that they didn't find, like, a better way to integrate that, because I think that's some of the coolest, like, features to just sort of, like, remix up a run of these games.
I mean, my personal preference would have been to just, like, have the Sonic 3 and Knuckles power-ups be throughout story mode, you know?
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
just keep the power-ups consistent throughout the entire experience.
Now, that said, like, those are there and like that because those are in the mobile versions. CD would not get that benefit.
True, that is true. So I remember there would have to be, like, a break between those, I suppose.
Yeah.
So, like, the menus in this, we should talk about the menus, because
Yeah.
this is just a really slick, gorgeous looking presentation that we've got.
It is. I guess if we want to talk the value proposition, they let me be upfront about this and say, you do not need to buy the deluxe version of this game. You do not need to buy the deluxe version of this game. You do not need to buy the deluxe version of this game. Everything you get in it is dumb. With maybe the exception of the very hard missions. Those are maybe the only things that might be worth... I'm not even going to say they might be worth.
Like that and the additional music and animations is why I guess, well, like, I'm just going to spend the extra $5.
Yeah, that's kind of like... That's kind of the problem, is because at the end of the day, I think they're relying on people to say, yeah, I'm just going to spend the extra $5, and I'll be real here, like, it's neat that I got to get mirror mode without having to go through the whole rigmarole of unlocking it for each individual game, but, like, that seems... all of this extra stuff is super dumb. Like, they should have just said, like, okay, and I'm tying this back to the menu system because... the stupidest possible thing that they have locked behind DLC is the ability to view their menu islands. Because the idea that, like, hey, these are displayed as individual islands is a really cool idea. It's really cool to have that, especially in game as your menu system, because it really ties together a world.
To have that lock behind an extra $5 thing is absolutely insane.
It establishes lore. Sonic lore.
And it's good for your presentation of your game.
Yeah. It's
trying to sell to you, a lot of that would be through word of mouth.
Jason, are you far away from the mic right now?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I was.
Okay, like, it's fine if you have to, like, be in a different part of your room or whatever for a minute, but
no, I'm
just
sorry.
making sure you knew. But, like, yeah, I guess, I don't know, like, technically, I don't have the deluxe version on the PS5 because Sega's code didn't like work properly or something when it came to that. Apparently, I'll have it when I take it to PS4.
You're not missing much.
But I did get the deluxe version on the Switch, so
okay.
But I'm confused. Like, what? I can like see the aerial view of the islands in the non-deluxe version. Is that what? That's not locked behind a DLC.
No. The only thing that you get is basically whenever you choose one of the game menus. So, like, if you choose Sonic 2, and you can see West Side Island? That's something like that. You see the island that's associated with Sonic 2. You can press a button, it's like, oh, now you can zoom in and pan around on it.
Wait,
like,
that's a deluxe feature?
That's a deluxe feature.
Wow, that is stupid.
It's very stupid. It's profoundly stupid. This is nickel and diming in a game that doesn't need to be nickel and dimed. Like, it's
already expensive enough at $39.99. You don't need to chop it up to $45 just for features that should be in a full game.
Like I said in April, Sega, if you want to sell your game for $45, sell it for $45 and cut out this nonsense. Like, just do it, okay?
Unfortunately, they will not, because that is what their current philosophy is. See also Sonic Colors Ultimate, Yakuza 7, I'm trying to think of what else, but there's Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, had it. Judgment, Lost Judgment. Yeah, Lost Judgment. I was thinking there was a subtitle there, but no, it's just Lost Judgment. That also had painful, like, hey, bonus DLC, pay us extra. It's they're doing this for all games now, and I think that's a huge mistake because this is not a game that needs that. It doesn't make sense for this game. Just, ugh.
But in any case, so we've gotten that out of our system.
Yeah, let's talk about the museum. Like, I think that's where we're moving to.
Yeah. So the museum. I have been slowly but systematically unlocking things whenever I have a few extra coins. I'm probably gonna stop for a while until I've gotten all the Chaos Emeralds in story mode. But from what I have seen, like, I am really happy with what we've gotten there. Like, I do wish that we'd have, like, some classic Sonic comic covers, but I know that's not happening due to.
Well, the way that they've approached what they're deciding to show on here is like any type of art that they are showing in there, be it like an IDW cover or like classic stock art, or like here's pages from the brand Bible. They're only showing classic Sonic. There is no modern Sonic to be found here.
Archie Sonic had classic Sonic all the way up through like issue 73 or something. So like if that was legally possible, then they should have done that. But I don't think it is. Regardless.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah.
I also wish that we had gotten some more like classic Japanese commercials and stuff like that. But putting all that aside, we got a lot of art that we've never seen before. We've got like the European stuff from the European style guide, which it's wild seeing that.
Like I was going through some of these and I could, like, there's a fair bit of art here. I've seen all the stuff that appears, like, these are the Sonic calendar that also appeared in the Sonic screensaver. Like, I'm familiar with all that. These aren't even higher resolution than what you can get from the original BMPs, but there's some weird, wild stuff in there, and most specifically, you can tell when the art is from the European division. Like, you can tell, like, they drew Eggman in a very specific way. They drew Tails in a very specific way, and you can differentiate between. Well, you can sort of differentiate between, okay, Japan definitely did this one, America definitely did this one, but no, Europe definitely did this one.
Let me guess. Europe has the ugliest ones.
Yeah, the most that I would describe them as like the most significantly off model. Like I have some Waddington's import board games and trading or cards and even stuff like import Pogs, and for some reason Europe always seemed to get the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog version of Eggman in a lot of their Robotnik and a lot of their stuff.
Like what's wild about Sonic the comic is that like Robotnik is super evil in that, like a serious villain, and he's got his goofy Adventures of Sonic design. It works really well from what I've seen.
Okay, yeah, he always just had like this bigger, like it always felt like he's got the big floppy nose, he's got the black iris or the black whites of his eyes, and just sort of that much more roundish, much more grotesque interpretation of him compared to like the occasionally sleeker Saddam Sonic, or the very to me the most iconic Japanese interpretation of Eggman, which we kind of are much more focused on now that the brand is a bit more unified.
Yeah. I'm always going to have a soft spot for Satam Robotnik, though.
Oh, sure.
But, and we also got the Sonic Mania animatics, and we got some stuff from Sonic Symphony, which is pretty cool.
I'll be real. Aside from some of the weirder, more obscure pieces of art, I found the museum a little bit disappointing. Like, It just wasn't doing it for like.
I kind of see what you mean.
Yeah, like it's cool that we got the animatics, but there's so many other videos that they could put in there. There's. I wonder who they would have to pay to do something again with the OVA, because in my head, my thought process is, well, they would have to pay someone or do something, but who and how much? Because I'm thinking like, oh, I'd love if the OVA was it. Like, it would be amazing if the OVA was in there. It would be amazing if
version of Man of the Year.
Yeah, the Hero of the Year animation.
That was a TMS animation, which is owned by Sega. And like, I also have like I said earlier, I wish we had the commercials. I wish we had like, you know what would also be cool is like some European and American commercials if they can get their hands on that stuff.
They had, and this is very cool. They had the music. They had the CD covers for the weird, obscure Sonic soundtrack CD, like Sonic promotional CDs, stuff like that Sonic CD remix soundtrack, or the stuff that they used for their, I guess, theme park thing is just Virtual Sonic, I believe it was called. Tone setting stuff. You know what would also be nice? What if they also had that music in there? But they don't.
Yeah.
I feel like they missed a big opportunity. Now, admittedly, maybe they couldn't. Maybe there's reasons why they could not do that. But it is the type of thing where they probably should have.
Issues with this stuff.
Yeah.
For me though, the one thing I was really, really hoping for that, of course, didn't happen was I really wanted emulated versions of some of the other like lesser games. Like those would have been the best unlockables, especially like the 8-bit stuff. That would have been really cool. But you know, it didn't happen. They might do it. They might do it if Origins sells well, I guess.
Well, we don't know that. We don't know that. Well, we don't know what they're planning.
Izuka said that like they may like look at other Sonic games if Origins does well. That's what I'm. That's what I'm.
That could mean 1,000 different things. Like
yeah, but I like to think it might mean
even just the advanced collection. I would love to see that.
Like we absolutely need a Game Boy Advance collection for Sonic games.
And DS. Let's do it.
I don't know if they are beholden to the remnants of THQ or the Embracer Group, but there is definitely a need for those games to hit something modern. Like my dream version of that is, oh, we remade all three of these games in the retro engine. And they're widescreen now, which means you can actually see where you're going. Also, we made the special stages playable, instead of completely unplayable.
Yeah, like you can just jump into one thing instead of like scouring the level for 7 rings or something.
God, I will tell you the game that absolutely needs the ability to replay special stages, and that is every Sonic Advance game.
Yeah.
But, I could just list games that I would love to see them do like collections or remakes of. Like I could say, the DS games, or I don't know. They need the second collection that just has the stuff that they could not otherwise get out, like Sega's Sonic Arcade and the bizarre Sega Sonic Brothers arcade game or something.
Ultimately, what I really hope they do next, and I'm sure I'm the only person on this podcast who wants this, I want them to do DLC for Origins that brings us Knuckles Chaotix and the retro engine, and also makes those characters playable in some of the other games.
Yeah,
that's probably asking for too much. But like, if you're gonna like sell us DLC, that could be like, I don't know, $15 or something. Just like just like give us a whole new game and a bunch of new characters to play with in the old games. Like,
You're not. I am. As you are saying that, I am thinking of. Oh, SBO would be really fun to play in all of these games. But
it's like
really
he has like the same kind of power as Knuckles in terms of being able to climb walls.
Like my version of this is just Sonic Origins Plus, and just do like Sonic Mania Plus. If you like, even if you just don't add Mighty and Ray, even if you just sort of remix the originals slightly, maybe make them a little bit more challenging, give players that whole mechanic of swapping between the players instead of having like lives.
Like just a literal encore mode for this would be really
encore
cool.
mode. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Now
I'm not expecting it, but like that's my white whale. My white whale used to be getting those mobile ports onto consoles. Now my white whale is having encore mode for those mobile ports. Although who knows? Maybe we'll get them whenever the
honestly,
modding
Sonic Origins DLC would sell. So I think so long as it's technologically feasible for them to do it, they absolutely need to.
I guess it's the problem then comes into, okay, who does that work? Because is it going to be headcanon, whom I don't know, maybe that's has become a problem since the release of this game?
Ideally it will still be headcanon, and headcanon will simply have a more flexible schedule for the DLC versus the main game, which was the primary source of friction between them and Sega, was just having to rush it out and produce a product that they were not entirely happy with.
Yeah, no. Isn't that just the story of the Sonic franchise?
Yeah. Like, Sega would be stupid to like not keep headcanon like that partnership going. Admittedly, I know they can be stupid, but I'm really hoping that
let me put it in context that I think we can all relate to. Yeah. They once employed Yuji Naka. I think that they should be absolutely fine maintaining a working relationship with headcanon.
Yeah. I personally, I think they will. I think that this drama might cause some friction, but
I think there is enough. I think there are enough people in Sega right now that are willing to advocate for that team, and like we know, Aaron Weber is closer to Sega's decision makers than ever before.
He's in Japan. I wouldn't be surprised if he was the reason why this whole thing happened.
Or if they specifically chose those versions of the games in order to do that, instead of just having yet another Genesis ROM collection.
Yeah.
So
in any case, Knuckles Chaotix Extra Missions Encore Mode. That is what your $20 Origins DLC is going to need to have, Sega. So get working on it.
I went back to Sonic or Knuckles Chaotix recently just to test out stuff on my Steam Deck, and that game still doesn't do a lot for me.
It's the one remaining classic Sonic game that they need to do something with, and it has never gotten a re-release. So
You're not wrong there. It probably should have some form of re-release somewhere. I don't know. I think you could probably make an emulator for Switch and give Nintendo an excuse to put out 32X games. Sure.
I mean, they really should just roll a 32X emulator in with the Genesis emulator.
You could put out such iconic games as Knuckles Chaotix and
Shadow Squadron, Colibri, Space Harrier,
Knuckles Chaotix,
Blackthorn,
and Knuckles Chaotix.
Dark Side. Well, maybe not Dark Side. I think that might just be.
yeah, I guess that's kind of like we're sort of wrapping up now. It's been 90 minutes talking about this game. Like, I guess my stance on it is to drop a cup on the floor that I'm sure everyone heard.
Yeah, I heard a little something.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of we'll say interesting opinions surrounding this game, and like Sonic fans are always going to be the most pedantic. They're always going to be the ones that's like, oh, this isn't like this. Yeah, I expected this. It's not like this. This is important.
I guess what I'm pointing out there, it's not just Sonic fans. That is just how fandom is.
But whenever you leave the Sonic fandom, sort of the weird place that this game is that they still have. I'm not convinced that this will sell amazingly. Partially because of the premium price attached to it. Part of it is because of the way that they decided to handle DLC, which really just gave it a stink that it still has not shaken to this day. But also, I think there's still the interpretation on here that, like, unless you are the major Sonic fan, these are just the games. And that's probably going to be the biggest thing that this has going against it.
Honest, I disagree with you, largely because I think this collection is mostly made for all the new Sonic fans that have been introduced to the character over the last
Sure.
few
No.
years.
I'm not saying. Well, I'm saying that is the sentiment that I'm sort of getting from outside the fandom. I was listening over to the latest Bombcast, and they were and Dan Reichert and Jeff Grubb were sort of discussing the game in the context of like, okay, well, this is neat. It has these extra things in it. You can be this character in this thing, and then at the end of the day, they had to decide, okay, what do we do? The quick look of, do we do this, or do we do it was either Turtles or Neon White. I forget which one they got, and they ultimately settled on one of the other games, because at the end of the day, the interpretation was, like, there are some cool bells and whistles here. These are ultimately the classic games.
I mean, I'm not talking about what Jeff Gertzman is interested in. I'm talking about what the 6-year-old who just came out of Sonic 2 and now has like a bunch of Sonic toys and Sonic shirts can be like, and like what they're going to be interested in.
Although I will for the record say like you are significantly behind the events of Giant Bomb and who still and is not there. So
I don't know. I heard Jeff Gertzman said that Sonic was never good a couple of weeks ago, so I forget.
Oh, I've heard Jeff Gertzman say Sonic was never good for the past decade. So, his reasons for believing that tend to be poorly defined at best. We'll say.
But I've never listened to Giant Bomb. But my basic point, is that I'm thinking about kids.
Yeah, I get that. And in a way, you are absolutely correct because of how they decided to delist all of the other games. Because now they have closed a lot of other avenues to get those games cheaper elsewhere.
Yeah, that's a pretty move.
Here's the way I would have done it if I were in charge of that. If you buy, and to help possibly justify the price point for it, take them off sale, sure. But then, if you buy Sonic Origins, you get all of those other versions on your platform of purchase. You get, basically, don't delist them from sale, but don't delist them from acquiring them. That way you have those other versions. You just, you have to buy Sonic Origins, and then you get your emulated version.
And some fans are going to say, "Where you're holding those versions for ransom?"
Yeah, but compared to them saying you're removing them, period. Like, if I'm thinking of like, if I am Sega, how do I make the money? And the answer is, I hold them for ransom.
So, Shigs, do you have any thoughts on any of this?
Any final thoughts? You mean? Yeah. Well, like you were saying, the fact that they have to charge an extra $5, up to $45, just to get everything in the game, is an absolute ridiculous. And yeah, it does put a barrier to a lot more people interested in the game. Like, seriously, about the Pac-Man Museum, $20 is a fair price for everything you're getting, and so was Sonic Mania. And Sonic Mania had a lot of new material to work with. Where
I might argue that they charged too little for Sonic Mania. I think that this might be them.
You can easily argue that, but I said before, $29.99 for this game would have been the perfect price. I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Everything that's included.
Yeah, I'm in agreement there.
Absolutely, $29.99. The $40 to $45 or $39.99 to $44.99 is just.
But like I said, I'm going to be spending so much time with this game on my Switch that I just don't regret the price anymore.
Sure. Well, yeah. For us, we specific broken human beings,
our money's worth at it.
Yeah.
But for kids who are wanting to get into Sonic, watch the movie and want to try out different games and that, this might be a lower barrier point for them.
Yeah. Like for us broken human beings who went and purchased it on multiple platforms. I speak entirely for myself. Both versions with the frickin' $5 upsell with pre-order.
Both of them?
Yeah.
Man.
I don't know, man. I was streaming it. I kind of needed it for the stream.
Sonic, not Sonic, it's All Stars. Team Sonic Racing and Sonic Forces were all at $39.99. But those were games that were built from the ground up. A lot of these are collections.
As I understand
it, already been remastered, and like Sonic CD and Sonic 1 were done on mobile. Sonic 3 and Knuckles is the only one that really needed a lot of
Jason,
work.
You cannot one-to-one that anymore because based on their basically based on their investor meetings, they are saying, hey, the difference between those games and these games is that one of them came out before a giant successful movie, and some of them came after a giant successful movie. Plus,
I think they said in those investor meetings specifically that they felt they had let Sonic's value as a brand fall too much, and they're trying to rectify that.
I can kind of agree with that because $39.99 was kind of cheap for Team Sonic Racing, and Sonic Forces maybe $49.99 to start.
Sure.
And same with Sonic Mania, they kind of undervalued themselves, but so now it makes this one seem like overpriced because of just that comparison.
They shifted a little bit too hard in the other direction.
Yeah.
But like Sega. Where is our happy medium with Sega? I have no clue. It's just it always feels like we're constantly finding the next foothold. Yeah. Do you think Sonic Frontiers will be a $60 game or a $70 game?
Oh, I hadn't considered 70.
I would say 60. 70 is almost exclusively a PS5 price. There's very few games outside of like Activision games where it's $69.99 on other consoles.
Sonic Frontiers, it's going to be on PS4, Xbox One, Switch. It's going to be 60, I think.
I'm just hoping that like that would be the absolute icing on the cake after the marketing fire that they started. Was be like, and we're charging $70 for it, and the internet just looks at them cockeyed and goes back to complaining that it's not the music that I wanted to listen to. I will never stop making fun of the internet for making so big a deal about this music.
What about the rail physics are all wrong?
Oh yeah, the rail. I mean, that's isolating it to a specific person, but yeah, rail physics are all wrong.
I saw the entire internet explode over that. Like,
played.
Loads of people were posting stuff about that.
I played Sonic Adventure 2 fairly recently, and you know what? The rail physics in that game suck. They're terrible. They are not fun.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a little bit of slightly cheap physics and let me go up.
Yeah,
like, there are some fun.
I would rather the physics be fun instead of accurate.
There are some fun tricks you can do with the physics, like when you have to like homing attack on those rails that go up. You can like jump and go flying up in the air. And
I think
there's a lot of.
It's so hard to do any of that.
I think Heroes had the best rail grind physics in which you did little tricks to make yourself go a little faster.
You just press a button.
Yeah, you just held a button and then it went faster. Like I prefer the, like, let's say Sonic Color, Sonic the more modern version of that, where instead of
Sonic Colors and Forces.
Sure, where it's not about, well, you have to have momentum for grinding. It's about, well, the grinding itself is going to be level design and you have to get through it.
Like, here's the thing. You don't want... Oh, wow, we really got on topic. You don't want momentum on your rails, because then you're just going to get stuck, you're going to fall off, then you're going to die. That's why even Sonic Adventure will, like, fill its rails with things that'll get you to
Sonic
go.
Adventure 2.
Because
I know we're going to have pedants who are going to correct us.
Yeah, like there are loads of like boost packs and boost rings that'll just get you going on the more intense rail focused levels.
I don't know. I never had a problem with there not being physics in any of the Ratchet and Clank grinding sections.
Yeah.
So, we're way off topic because we are going to end the show.
Yes.
We can complain about Sonic Frontiers criticisms next week when we'll have a more normal show covering that and covering Sonic issue 50 and the issues that came before that.
Yeah, so next week is primarily going to be a comic book discussion, but we will also be going over news, primarily Sonic Frontiers news.
We're making it to 50, baby.
It's kind of like be a Frontiers Sonic IDW Power 2 hour or whatever. So, tune in, I guess.
Yeah. So, hey, Shigs, where can people find you, and what have they seen on the site recently of yours?
Oh, they can catch me here on Sonic Stadium. I have done one or two news pieces recently, even though I've been a very busy boy. I'm moving out of my home here in California to Oregon. I forget which one it was. Let me find it real quick. Like one of the news topics we'll mention next week. Sonic.
They'll be able to
Christmas Advent calendar.
They'll be able to find.
But they'll be able to find it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Alex, where can people find you in doing stuff?
On the Sonic Stadium website, as well as on the Sonic Stadium YouTube, where I've posted roughly half of our Sonic 3 and of our Sonic Origins videos, and I'm working towards unlocking movie Super Sonic so that I can also get footage of him on the YouTube.
Excellent. Because I fell off the mobile game train once again. It's like
I have managed to keep it going.
I have gotten too much stuff going on. As like it came down to, well, I'm gonna check in with this game every day at the very least, and it turned into, well, crap. Now I have a Steam Deck, and I want to just mess with that every waking moment. So I guess I'm not.
My most recent news articles were Sonic Mania at the movies comes to an end. Sonic 2 surpasses $400 million, and Sonic Origins is now playable.
Yep. So. And hey, you can catch me also writing for Sonic Stadium, but also you can catch me streaming several times a week. We've got a Tuesday stream called Almost Every Sonic, in which we attempt to play almost every Sonic game. We've got a Friday stream called Sega Sonic Radio, which we'll say its schedule has been turbulent as of late due to a combination of personal life circumstances and technical circumstances. We are slowly working to resolve both. But hey, if you like Sonic music, jump on over to Sega Sonic Radio on Friday nights, and we've got a nice little playlist for you. And then alternate Sundays, whenever we are not doing Sonic Talk, we do another episode of Almost Every Sonic. And we just continue to play through games familiar and bizarre, film games new and old, and the entire gambit. So yeah. And hey, if you want to follow me on Twitter for some reason, it's at the Spin Dash. All one word, at the Spin Dash. And of course, you can find all this and more over at Sonic Stadium, sonicstadium.org, and on Twitter at Sonic Stadium. We do a lot of additional little tiny bit reporting over on Twitter. So it's you get the big articles over on Stadium Prime, and then you get hey, here's a small update. Hey, here's news before we're ready to really report it. Hey, here's a video that we put up. Or hey, we're going live on Twitch and YouTube.
Yeah, and well, we just, of course, we recently had a Twitter giveaway, and we should be doing another one sometime in the next month. Like Jason and I have a bunch of McDonald's toys to get rid of, so that should be available. Those should be available eventually.
Sounds good. So, thank you everyone who tuned in, and we will catch you. Oh, geez, we're gonna catch you next week, aren't we? Aren't we?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Because we're doing another special episode for the comic, which is also going to just be a general episode because it is high time for that.
So yeah, we will catch you next week, guys. Peace all.
Don't get used to this.
Bye.
All right. Bye. Okay, that's it.
Good news, everyone. Sonic